Well, it must be Kill a Pig Week in North America because we have another shooting that involves the deaths of police officers, this time in Las Vegas. Apparently, a couple, which according to reports appear to be neo-Nazis or white supremacists, went to a pizzeria to ambush a group of police officers. There was a shootout and a short chase that resulted from this initial ambush, which killed 2 police officers and 3 other people. Witnesses do describe that the couple, the man and the woman that actually did the shooting, whose identities have not been released, shouted, "This is the beginning of a revolution," which is very telling words to be used. The police victims have been identified as Officer Alan Beck, 42, and Officer Igor Soldo, 32. After this initial ambush, the perpetrators took weapons and ammunition from the deceased police officers, then went to a Walmart where they eventually ended up killing another person. Witnesses described them coming in with the weapons and saying, "Everybody get out." It's not really known what the intentions of the shooters were at this time. This is just what the statements by witnesses are saying. So there was definitely an intention to keep this massacre going as long as they felt like they could, or however long it is that they feel they should. Afterward, the shooters committed suicide in what the media is reporting as a possible suicide pact. A neighbor of theirs did speak to the media. They said they had a reputation for spouting racist, anti-government views, bragging about their gun collection and boasting how they'd spent time at Clive and Bundy's ranch during a recent standoff there between armed militia members and federal government agents. In a very telling piece of information, the media is reporting that the perpetrators covered the bodies, or at least one of the bodies of the officers, with one of the yellow flags with the snake on it that says, "Don't tread on me." Now, after having searched their home as well, after they are deceased, the police say they did find swastikas in the apartment, and that from all of this, at least very superficial investigation and witness statement, that these people were Tea Party people. They were among that, right-wing anger that's been rising as a result of the global recession. I think it's very important that we keep in mind here that this is blatantly an act of white terrorism. And that's exactly what this is. Now, what people usually overlook is, where did this come from? Why is this here? Well, what we have seen is a very large decline in the middle class, which I would tend to think, without really any proof, that these people probably were middle class, or at least lower middle class. And this has happened to a lot of Americans, and particularly white Americans as well, who've normally enjoyed an advantaged position in society, where they have always been over other people, particularly ethnic minorities. And a lot of this has been breaking down as a result of the global recession. The middle class has been decimated after the global collapse of capitalism in 2008. And now these otherwise privileged people are now having to live the same lives, the same level of income, or the same, in bourgeois terms, class position that these minorities have always had to live in. And as a result, they, without a real understanding of economics or how the system works, or the politics of the system they live in, they grasp even harder to their own beliefs, which is that they feel black people have done this, or minorities have taken our jobs, or this is the evil black Keynesian Marxist that has taken over the country and is getting back at white people for the several hundred years of slavery. Without a correct ability to analyze the deepening recession that we're experiencing, they're defaulting to their already held beliefs as an attempt to explain what has happened. This is also a kind of thing that happens with conspiracy theorists and what they go to when they cannot explain what is happening. As this situation with the global recession gets worse, and the looming second dip in the recession that looks to be going to be a lot worse than the one we have now, this kind of alienation combined with this particular culture is going to create more situations like this. When the real big bang in terms of depression comes, and there's going to be another huge depression, situations like this are going to get worse. And those who hold on to those ideologies where they're blaming people because they don't understand the system and how it works are going to get a lot worse. And as this rolls on, there's going to be more and more and more incidences because of this. Already, since the time that I from the time that I wrote this video to the time that I'm recording it right now, there's already been 2 more shootings in the United States. That's a ton of them in just 1 week. And one very notable one in Canada, given that it's also it's a rare occurrence there. So we do see that the social situation is breaking down. The alienation that results from capitalism, the social alienation, not the alienation of labor, the social alienation is working its magic and is creating a more and more unstable society. And in order to keep capitalism profitable, or to at least return it to an acceptable level of profitability, the state is going to have to use more and more repressive measures in order to keep some form of social cohesion. There has to be less violence, less antagonisms, less of these, outright contradictions and such manifestations of those antagonisms. In order for it to be profitable, you have to have a calm and relatively flowing society in order for investment to be really profitable. That's the best possible situation. And capitalism creates contradictions, which makes it hard to invest, which is one of the contradictions inside capitalism itself. With regards to the suicide pact, I did want to say something about it. We have a situation where it's not just, a man and a woman. There's also many men or women or what have you. The suicide pacts happen, and not just necessarily in a Bonnie and Clyde type situation that we see here. People are angry at the system. Their anger is misplaced in that they do not understand why these things are happening. But there is something that is being done. People are losing their livelihoods. The situation is getting worse. There is a tremendous breakdown in the social order. There is a breakdown in civil society. They feel, given the way the system is, becoming more and more repressive in order to force its continued existence, that they are being oppressed. And technically speaking, they are. The government is becoming more oppressive. And then what they do is they see no legal means by which to end that oppression. Thus, they lash out at authority. They clearly ambushed police. They were aiming for authority, the agents of the government. They were looking for the soldiers of the state. They knew that there was nothing they could really do. What happened was this stress that they felt, being unable to change things, and knowing that they could never really do it, manifests itself in some kind of gigantic explosion. They take their desperation as a result of this, that comes out of this, and it becomes an act to do something. I cannot do anything else, so I will do the one thing I can do, which is just to explode and attack the system. And this kind of thing is going to happen more and more. When people feel this desperate that there's nothing they can do to stop what is happening, because they don't know enough about social theory to try to change a system that is doing the things it is to them, and much less to understand the contradictions that give rise to the system itself, and that system and then in turn perpetuates. They're going to resort to more actions like this. Just explosions of anger towards a system that is doing what it is doing to them. And that's why these kind of pacts happen, because they know they're not coming back, and they feel more comfortable if they do it with other people who feel the same. So I did just want to speak on that before I end this video. And we can definitely see that more of these situations are going to arise in the future as people fail to understand the system itself. Thank you for watching. Please comment and rate the video. If you liked it, hit subscribe or check out some of these other great videos. If you wish, share it on social media. And while you're at it, why don't you follow me on Twitter? And if you got time, go on over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.